Okay, Thursday, 19th of September, 2024. So Adrian's daily vlog, sharing smart stuff men should know. Thoughtful Thursday, philosophy and musings from life. Ludditism. So this is a very interesting concept that emerged in Britain in the early 19th century. People that were opposed to technological development, especially the loom with regards to fabric and textiles, manufacturing and factories, whatever else. And they were opposed to it because it compromised their livelihood, their job. It made them unemployed, basically. And they didn't want this technology, this adoption, because it affected their lifestyle, affected their livelihood. And they were opposed to it. And over time, that idea, being opposed to technology and innovation, has gone to mean a Luddite. He's a Luddite, she's a Luddite. Ludditism. Ludditist? I guess so, it's possible. But Ludditism. And we have to be careful and conscious about technology, and as it goes, and as it expands, develops, whatever else, adopted, you name it. Because overall, technology is good. We want new technology, we want better society, we want more technology in general, because it frees up our time. Speaking purely economically, these are labour-saving devices. As opposed to physically going out into the world and doing stuff, sending a letter, we just send an email. As opposed to physically meeting someone and arranging and going to meet them in person, we have a video call. You see what I mean? These things save our time, meaning we can be more productive, meaning we can do more stuff each day. That's powerful stuff, very, very powerful. So we have to be conscious and acknowledge that technology improves our lives. Just look around. Countless technology makes our lives infinitely better. Even doing this, compared to, say, 20 years ago, would have been a lot harder. 30 years ago, unfathomable. 20 years ago, quite difficult, very possible. 10, 15 years ago, yeah, a lot easier. Today, much easier. Faster, slicker, you name it. So technology improves lives. We need that. I did a video about this where civilization is always on the march. It's always getting better. Mankind's always getting better. So there's a nice balance, but that doesn't mean we can't dismiss Ludditism, because it's a concern for the status quo, concern for the social order, concern for how things are. You could say that with new technology comes more new social threats, obstacles, challenges, better. In a sense of the status quo, in a sense of life and lifestyle, we can have guided missiles but misguided men. There's a famous quote by Malcolm X, not Malcolm X. I forgot the guy's name completely. We have guided missiles but misguided men. Technology could outpace morality, spirituality, you name it, ethics, you name it. But and that's the interesting thing there. We have to accept that technology is always going to be there, always going to improve. Very important. And we want technology. We do more stuff faster and easier and quicker and better. Very important. If without technology, we'd be living as farmers. We'd have to be growing our own food. Other people can do farming and growing for us. It means that I can frees up my time to do other more high value things. Content creation, reading, studying, working with my clients and much more. That's powerful stuff. But at the same time, we have to be conscious of how things can affect us. Well, there's always the unknown unknowns, and there's within reason. I did a video about that. I'm quite sure I did. The unknown unknowns. There's also the law of the unenumerated that I did a video of. And within reason. I did a video about that as well. Within reason, a caveat to it. All this new technology makes our lives better, but there are the unknown unknowns going into the future as to how it can affect us. And in that regard, the Luddites had a point. It affects their livelihood. In the short term, the long term, mankind is better off. Well, obviously, yeah, compared to 200 years ago. But we have to be conscious of how technology changes our lifestyle, our livelihood, the status quo, everything, for good or for bad. We have to be conscious of that and not dismiss those concerns, those justifiable concerns. The people that, say, in different levels of society would have the worries and concerns that technology, like AI, for example, how it would affect their livelihood, their lifestyle, how they're going to feed themselves and their family. Very justifiable, very humanistic, humanitarian questions worth asking. But then you can go further and say, well, with technology, it makes more things abundant. Information, food, distribution, logistics, you name it. And that's why I say it was, in the long term, the loom, what the Luddites were protesting against, manufacturing and fabrics, was good for mankind. Yes, meaning there are vastly more winners than losers for introducing the loom, for introducing the cotton jenny, the spinning jenny, the internal combustion engine, the internet, flight, all these other technologies. There are vastly more winners than losers. Otherwise, economically speaking, people wouldn't pursue that avenue. There are vastly more winners than losers with the internet. Otherwise, the internet wouldn't have taken off. It wouldn't be used. It would not be so ubiquitous everywhere today as in the past. Very important. Mankind marches on. Mankind gets better and better. And these things, like the loom, like the internet, is good for mankind. Really, there's loads of ideas and inventions being created all the time, and new discoveries made. But it's through marketplace of ideas, through the market, through anything. Through market forces and mankind, we look at these ideas, these tools, and well, that's cool, but not very good, not useful for me. So people ignore it, people don't buy it, people don't bother with it, and then that gets not discarded but ignored. And then this idea, the ideas that survived, the ones that we talk about over hundreds and thousands of years, those ideas are the critical ones that pushed mankind forward. This one's ignored, but these ones pushed mankind forward. And that's inevitable in a sense of humans wanting to create and invent new things. So Ludditism will always be around. This force that's pushing back against technology, it'll always be around. I think the balance would be, with new technology comes new social threats, new challenges for the individual, for what opportunities as well. Just there's more opportunities really than threats, because otherwise, again, we wouldn't be using it. We would ignore it. There'd be more threats than opportunities. So no thanks. So we will be aware of that, challenges, and accept it's inevitable. Accept that mankind has infinite creativity, infinite ideas and things to create and build and manufacture and dream and invent and create and you name it. Yes, I had an interesting theory a long time ago that mankind's creativity is so infinite that eventually they'll create a theory that says mankind's creativity is so infinite, which proves itself. Interesting thing. So we are so creative and imaginative, we'll recognize our own creativity and recognize our own limitation, our own limitless of imagination, because we can imagine so many things. We'll eventually realize that we have no limit to how many things we can invent, which means, as I said earlier, Ludditism will be around forever. There'll always be pushback, there'll always be innovation, and mankind will slowly rise and get better and better, step by step, inch by inch, day by day, get better and better. And then over time, I did a video about this as well, actually, about predicting the future, talking about 15 years and 30 years from now. 15 years from now, it'll look similar but subtly different. 30 years from now, from today, it would look completely different. And those inventions, the inventions today that are being discovered, mastered, or the principles are being unearthed and conceptualized or codified or defined, won't take effect fully and hit critical mass for 30 or so years. I remember 20 or so years ago now, I had a teacher from wood technology, Mr. McLaughlin, old man, very stern and very assertive. And he said that the technologies of tomorrow, bear in mind this is 2004, were on the drawing boards at the time, and those technologies won't be used until way into the future. And this is 2004, and I remember the phones in 2004. He was talking about phones back then. And I was thinking, what? This phone here now is completely primitive 20 or so years later. Wow, really? Better than this? 20 years later, yeah, completely better. Completely different. So much better. That exact same principle can be applied to everything else. And with these new technologies, will be more pushback from those it will affect in their lives, their livelihood, their job, their income, their lifestyle, you name it. But on the grand scheme of things, there'll be many more winners than losers from all these technological advances. That's fundamentally worth remembering and understanding. Yes. But otherwise, Adrian's Daily Vlog, sharing smart stuff men should know. Subscribe for more. You will see me tomorrow.